And welcome back to the Livingston Parish News Weekly Show, a podcast brought to you by the Livingston Parish News. My name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news, and this is from the Cheap Seat, where I sit down with this gentleman and we talk about what's going on in Livingston Parish athletics. I'm going to let him introduce himself real quick.
Hey, this is Rob DeArmond, sports editor with the Livingston Parish News.
And plenty to talk about today. Winter sports just keep sneaking back into the limelight here. But first and foremost, an interesting I just sort of a circular motion for a former Walker standout. But Jalen Cook's coming back to LSU. You got a chance to talk to him over the weekend. You and I were both kind of surprised. We figured a lot of people would be reaching out to him, but he took your call. Tell us a little bit about what's going on here.
Really interesting deal. When you talk to Jalen, I hadn't talked to him in a while. I think I saw him at one point during the season, and like I said, we saw each other kind of in the gym, and I was going one way, he was going the other, so we really didn't get a chance to talk too much. He's had two really good seasons at Tulane, made the all-conference team in those 2 years after, of course, starting his career at LSU. Basically, he said what he wants to do is he wanted to get back to a Power 5 school, and he feels like LSU gives him the best chance to play on the next level, which is why and to be closer to home too was another one. He kind of tipped his hat to the time at Tulane. He said it kind of helped him grow as not only a player but as a person. And then the other part was just to get a chance to play for Coach Matt McMahon. He said he's been really impressed with what he's seen. He's had some success with other point guards that have been in his system, and he said he feels like he's going to be a really good fit. But ultimately, it's coming back, trying to win a national championship and get himself to the next level.
Sure. So, welcome back to the Baton Rouge area, Mr. Jalen. I know people had missed you, but like you said, 2 successful years at Tulane.
Really, just some really good stuff. It's every time you run into anybody, hey, are you seeing what Jalen's doing? And it's pretty much, every week you wanted to see what he was doing, and just happy for him to have that success. And this is another opportunity. The transfer portal has opened up some of these opportunities for some players, and he's taking advantage of it.
Sure. So we wish him the best of luck as he, as mentioned, returns back to the Baton Rouge area. Sticking with basketball, we have 2 Holden players that were honored by the Louisiana Sports Writers Association for their All-Star team, I believe you said.
It's the All-State team.
All-State team.
So yeah, there were two Holden athletes named to the second team. On the boys' side, you had Jake Forbes from Holden. He's kind of been you kind of get used to seeing Jake out there. He started getting minutes when he was an 8th grader, but for him, every year that he came out, it seemed like his role kind of expanded. And he went back to the fact that when he first came out, I think he said he had 8 seniors in front of him. So he said you kind of watch and you kind of learn and you kind of see what's going on. And as you keep going, I talked to Coach Landon Dubois and said he gets to that junior year and you look at him and go, hey, man, you got to be the guy for us. And I think he shouldered that, kind of took that on. But this year, he said was kind of different because he didn't feel like it was all him. He had some guys that he said he could maybe dish to and get the ball to, and so he didn't really have to take on that scoring role. And if you look at their games, he might be in double digits, but there were other guys that were there with him, which he said was really fun. Because you can rely on your teammates to help you out and get some baskets for you, so you're not feeling that much pressure, which is a good thing for him. And the next thing he said, right now things are going pretty fast, and he's going to be hopefully make an announcement here shortly about where he's going to go play college ball. So he just said pay attention for that.
Congratulations to that.
Yeah, no doubt. It's a big deal. On the girls' side, Casey Breithaupt was a second team choice. What I thought was unique about this, when I saw the list, I saw her name. You kind of go, wow, that's something. If you followed Holden girls basketball during the season, had some turnover there, some things happened for him to where Casey Breithaupt had to become, after being a defensive specialist for all of her career, pretty much, she had to become the team's point guard. So I asked her about that. So for me to make that kind of switch and become an all-state player that's a pretty big deal. But just asking her about it, I was like, how'd you how'd you kind of figure it out? She said, I'm a senior. I felt like I had to help the team out and do what we needed to do. And it was kind of like, let's figure it out. You kind of figure it out through practice, through games, and just kind of find your niche. And another part of it was, which I thought was unique, she's playing 4 sports for Holden. When I talked to Coach Pam Forbes, she said we got done at the end of the year, and as you get ready for that next year. So at the end of her junior year last year, they asked, what do you want to do? And she said, I'm going to do, all these 4 sports, which is powerlifting, basketball, softball, and track. She said, Coach Forbes said Casey didn't want to leave anything on the table for her senior year. She wanted to take advantage of every opportunity she had. So then I asked her, I said, okay, so you're doing 2 sports at the same time, because powerlifting runs at the same time as basketball. And I said, did you feel like that kind of helped you in that transition? She said, yeah, I felt like I was stronger and faster. So, nothing wrong with specialization, but here's another situation where you see that playing multiple sports helps you in the grand scheme of things. And for her, it was, I said, hey, did you see this coming at all? And she said, no, I'm basketball's not my main sport. Softball's my main sport. So this is a pretty cool deal for her.
Sure. So congratulations to both of them. A lot of times when you hear about these kids having a lot of success, they are multi-sport athletes. I know that there was a time there when coaches had gotten real pushy about staying in one sport, but it does seem that that's making a comeback. The coaches are starting to realize it's good for them to be involved in multiple sports and stay involved throughout the year.
Correct. And a lot of times you may go into that second sport just to say, hey, I'm going to keep my conditioning up during the off season is a way to do it. And sometimes it turns into something else, where you kind of get the bug and say, okay, let me go ahead and play this other sport because I'm really enjoying it, and I think for Casey Brightup, it's just one of those things. She's like, I just like playing sports. So she's decided to do them all, and
Sure.
Good for her.
Yeah. A lady of many talents. So moving into spring sports now, specifically, I know that this weekend you and if y'all don't follow Rob on Twitter, you never know unless you just happen to be listening to the radio. But probably once a month, you get Under the Hood, as they call the show, with Roger Gill over in Hammond. Talk a little bit about what's going on in Livingston Parish athletics. I know that this weekend y'all discussed power rankings for baseball and softball. We're in the home stretch, about 2 to 3 weeks left for both sports.
Actually, you're looking at this week for softball. It is the last week of the regular season.
There you go.
I mean, it seems like we just started, but always moves at a breakneck pace. It was kind of funny. Friday, Saturday, it kind of rains, and I looked at my wife and I was like, it's weird that what's going to slow this thing down is weather.
Yeah.
Because we really haven't had any bad weather. This is really the first real delay we've had, and it was really only a day because teams were able to kind of pick back up on Saturday, and some of them were able to go again. So.
Sure. And now, obviously, one game that was postponed several days, which is a barn burner, is going to be Santa Maula versus Live Oak softball.
That's coming up. That's your 1 versus 2 in Division I non-select. So yeah. Get your popcorn ready.
Sure.
It's like I said, like we talked about last week. You play these games. These are games they're playoff type atmospheres, and they're going to get you ready for what's ahead.
So run us through those power ratings real quick.
Yeah, we'll go with softball first. We just mentioned it. Live Oaks at number 2. This is Division I non-select. Just to give you guys an idea where these teams are at this point. These are coming from Go Preps from Hunter Bauer. Does a great job of keeping this updated. I don't know how he does it, but I'm checking them out pretty regularly just to see where everybody is. Walker's at number 7 and Denham Springs at number 20. So just to give you guys an idea, with the new configuration and non-select, you're going to have 26 teams make the playoffs. Just to give you an idea where everybody stands there. In Division II non-select, Albany is at number 2. They're 19-2 on the season. Don't want to say kind of quietly, but they just keep the thing rolling. Division III non-select, you got Doyle at number 5 and Springfield at number 20. Division IV non-select, French Settlement is at number 3. I believe they'll be playing Walker later on this week too. So that's another one of those. Let's see what's happening heading into the playoffs. And in Division One, Holden's at number 1, and Marpaw at number 24. You're going to look at Holden's record. You're going to say 18-9. Maybe it hasn't been, and you don't want to say it's easy, but they've been playing some pretty quality competition, throughout the course of the season to get themselves ready as well.
As they typically do.
Correct.
They play up a lot, especially a lot of sort of intra-parish competition.
Yes, I think they go out of their way to do that.
Right, and as you can see, Albany at number 2 in their division, Live Oak at number 2 in their division. I believe they played both of them.
Yes, that's correct. That Holden was supposed to play Live Oak on Friday, and that got rained out. I got up Friday morning and shot Coach Prescott a text over there and said, "How's the weather in Watson?" She said, "Unpredictable. We're not playing." So I don't know if they're going to try to reschedule. I think the word was they were going to try to reschedule. When we find out, we'll let you guys know.
Okay, over on baseball.
All right, let's roll over. And just to give you guys an idea, in the baseball and the non-select, they're going to take 24 teams in the playoff field, in the revamp field here. We'll start with Division One non-select. We got Live Oak sitting at number 4, Denham Springs at 25, and Walker at 35. In Division 2, we have Albany at 19. Division 3, Doyle is at number 4, Springfield 13. Division 4, French Settlement is 16, and in Division 5, Holden is at 19, Marpaw at 21, and I believe Holden and Marpaw will be playing each other this week, so that may shake some things out there too.
So a lot of good competition coming up over the next week and a half or so to round out both of the spring sports seasons as we head into the postseason. So keep an eye here for all things baseball and softball. Follow Rob on Twitter, of course. And again, if you ever want to hear him on the radio, that's the best place to find it out. Anything else we need to add?
Let's see. What were we talking about? Coach's All-Star game is coming up for baseball. We've got three guys going. Peyton Woods from Doyle, Hunter Owens, and Lane Lusk from Live Oak will be participating in that. That'll be the 19th and 20th of May at Louisiana Christian in Pineville.
So, going to be looking forward to see who makes those teams from here. So, thank you, sir. If you introduce yourself.
Sure. This is Rob DeArmond, sports editor with the Livingston Parish News.
And my name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you guys for joining us for the Livingston Parish News Weekly Show. This is From the Cheap Seats. It's where Rob and I talk about what's going on in Livingston Parish athletics. Please remember the news is on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube once a week. In print on Thursdays at $7 a month to get that in your mailbox. We're also online, www.livingstonparishnews.com. We appreciate you joining us, and we'll see you next time.